Now, we always say about the dynasty years of the Cincinnati Reds, the big trade with Lee May brought a myriad of great players to the squad, but the most underrated and I think the most important, no disrespect to Joe Morgan, they needed to solidify their outfield from a defensive standpoint. And if you're looking for a defensive outfielder, you look at Gurriel with Arizona when he came over. Like I said, he's learning how to play defense, and this guy learned how to play better defense as soon as he got to Cincinnati. One of my favorite players growing up, we always wanted to be like him, and always wanted to emulate him. All Montreal Expo and Blue Jay fans loved this guy because being from the DR, it kind of mimicked the Latino style that was starting to hit with Toronto and later with Montreal, like Vladimir Guerrero Senior and everybody else. A talented player, and they called him Cesar Geronimo. Now, born Cesar Francisco Geronimo Zarilla, March 11, 1948, in the DR in El Cibo. He's from Dominican, former baseball player and coach. He played in MLB as an outfielder from 69 to 83, most notably as a member of the Reds dynasty that won three National League pennants and two World Series titles between 72 and 76. He also played for the Astros and later, after Cincinnati, with the Royals. While Geronimo was not a prolific player on offense, he excelled as probably one of the best defensive player of his era, winning four consecutive Gold Glove awards from 74 to 77. In 2008, Geronimo was inducted in Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Now, there's some question about him getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame for his defensive stylings, but again, a lot of people will be against that because defense don't get you in the Hall of Fame. Statistics offensively does. Now, born in the DR, his father was a driver for a car service, shuttling passengers on a 3-hour drive from El Cibo to the capital of the DR, Santo Domingo. At age 14, Caesar's parents sent him to school at a seminary with hopes that he would become a priest. However, his athletic prowess continued to develop, especially in basketball. He didn't start playing baseball, get this, until he was 17. 2 years later, 67, after scouts saw him play on his father's softball team and recognized his prowess both pitching and hitting, he was signed as a free agent contract by the New York Yankees. Now, the Yankees tried unsuccessfully to make Geronimo a pitcher during his first pro season in 67. In spring training of 68, he informed the Yankees that he wanted to end the pitching experiment, and later that year he was drafted out of the Yankees minor league system in the Rule 5 draft by the Houston Astros. Now, Geronimo made his major league debut with the Astros on April 16, 1969 at the age of 21. He notched his first career hit 5 days later in the ninth inning, pinch hitting for Jack Billingham. Geronimo doubled off the Reds' Wayne Granger. Now, on November 29, 71, Geronimo was involved in one of the most significant and lopsided trades in the history of the Reds when he was acquired from the Astros along with Ed Armbruster, Jack Billingham, Dennis Menke, and Joe Morgan for Lee May and two filler players. The trade helped to transform the Reds into the juggernaut known as the Big Red Machine that would dominate the National League for the next 5 campaigns. A winner of four consecutive Gold Glove awards from 74 to 77, Geronimo was an outstanding all-around defensive center fielder who combined speed and great range with a powerful arm. He was a starting center fielder of Reds teams that won 5 divisional titles, 3 National League pennants, and a 75 and 76 World Series. 72, 75, 76 with a World Series. Geronimo's nickname was the Chief. In the 75 World Series, he hit 280 with 2 home runs, but is best known for the iconic image of catching Carl Yastrzemski's fly ball for the final out of that World Series. Now, Geronimo had his most productive season in 76 with career best totals in batting average, 307, hits, 149, bases on balls, 56, triples, 11, stolen bases, 22, and on base percentage with 382. In the following campaign, he hit a career high 10 home runs. He played the last 3 seasons of his career from 81 to 83 in a reserve role with the Kansas City Royals. Now, he's 15 major league seasons. He batted 258 with 51 home runs and 392 RBIs, 460 runs scored, 977 hits, 161 doubles, 50 triples, and 82 stolen bases. Defensively, he had a .988 fielding percentage at all 3 outfield positions. Now, Geronimo holds the dubious distinction of being the 3,000 strikeout victim of both Bob Gibson and Nolan Ryan. I was just in the right place at the right time, he joked to the media. Now, after retiring, he worked for the Japanese Hiroshima Carp as a coach in their Dominican Baseball Academy and has been seen on the Board of Trustees of the Dominican Republic Sports and Education Academy. He currently resides with his family in Santo Domingo in the DR. In July 2008, he was inducted in Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. He continues to return to Cincinnati for annual Reds Fest, Big Red Machine reunions, and other appearances. Now, him being one of the biggest stars from the DR is not really recognized as much now as it was before, because he broke through for a lot of people in relation to taking a better look at what the athletes from the Dominican Republic could offer. And let me tell you something, he was always doing something. He could make a good play in the field, he get a key hit, and but like I said, stats are not everything here. Now we look at the rough numbers as well with him. He had 4 consecutive seasons from 74 to 77 where he averaged about 50 RBIs, 5 to 10 home runs, and he was he unfortunately was striking out a lot, but basically that he was not there again to be a hitter. The defense was the most important thing. Now you look at the standard fielding. It's quite interesting how it breaks down here. He had numerous seasons where he never made an error. So in his whole career, in the rough numbers, this is no joke, he only made, I think it's a grand total of 35 errors? Yeah, 35 errors. 35 errors in his whole career. So you do the rough numbers this with 81 assists. So amazing numbers. 2 errors a season on average are pretty freaky. But his Kansas City situation was quite interesting because he did play in the 81 ALDS against Oakland. So from 1972 to 81 again, he was in the playoffs in 72, 73, 75, 76, 79, and 81. Comparable to Reggie Jackson for being every year. So ladies and gentlemen, Cesar Geronimo, you say the name and it brings up a whole bunch of good memories because everybody on the Blue Jays, everybody with the Expos in the 90s, looked to him as being the grandfather of the DR legends that came to Canada. And I think, for a lot of people, Cesar Geronimo in certain minority communities in Ontario and different places in Canada is more popular than everybody else but Johnny Bench and Pete Rose. He's that good. Like Canadians don't like Joe Morgan because of his poor announcing skills, because he's been terrible. God bless his soul, he's passed away, but he was a terrible broadcaster. But baseball, if you hit, if you make it a second base, you got a double. I mean, it's just foolishness. But Cesar Geronimo, it sounded like a ball player. It sounded like a superstar. That's what he was, in my personal opinion. He got the rings to prove it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our Big Red Machine podcast, especially the key, what I call the Key 9, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. By the way, 2024 should be better because you can't get any worse than 2023. There's been a lot of shit going on. Love your neighbor, but don't get caught, as we like to say. And as we say in Northern Brunswick, keep your stick in the ice. Have a good day. Bye.